Hi, buddy. I think I screwed this up. I had the live stream scheduled, and I go on to my own live stream tab, and I don't really know how to click into the live. So I don't know if you guys are now waiting for me on the other live stream or not. I have a feeling you probably are. So if you can, click out of that and head over to this one. I don't see anybody in the room, so maybe that's the problem right now. Okay, one person. Sorry about this. I'm learning the ropes with the live streams, and I pre-scheduled this last night just to throw up a thumbnail, and somehow I couldn't even get into the live. So I'll figure it out. We'll solve the problem. So, hey, Mark, how you doing? Hi, Shell. I saw some other people on the other live stream. Again, apologize, guys. We'll work out. I'm not the most technically advanced person. So, listen, I wanted to discuss. Well, come on and say hi. It's Saturday. We're going to start doing instead of the typically during the week stuff. Hi, Roxanne. Thanks. I saw you on the other one. I apologize for the confusion. I'll figure it out. It won't happen again. The format for these Saturday shows is going to be not the usual, during the week, not clickbait per se. You know what I'm talking about. We're going to just, what I thought would do, obviously revisit important topics from the week, but I want to start reviewing and reading some viewer comments. I printed some out to review or to read today. Maybe I can answer some questions within those comments. And then also hopefully take some questions from you guys, discuss current events. So that'll be the focus. I don't know how many people will get in the room here on Saturday. It's not going to be a clickbait title. I'm just going to put up that Ox Talk Saturday Live, and hopefully we'll start getting some people showing up. The goal, from my perspective, with this Saturday live stream is just to, if I can help just a couple people, if I can provide some guidance, some insight. I don't want to turn this into a bunch of legal consultations. I got to be real careful with that because I'm licensed in California, and of course a lot of you guys are in different parts of the country. By the way, good morning if you're on the West Coast, and good afternoon if you're on the East Coast. I had tried to set this up as an outside in the back about an hour ago, and something with the way the sun was, it was totally whiting everything out in the background. It just was not workable. So I was hoping to get outside. We're actually having a reasonably nice morning here in the Southern California desert, low 70s, which is actually cool for us right now. So let me know where you guys are at around the country. Hi, Nicole. Good afternoon. It's morning here. Good afternoon to you, wherever you're at. So that's what we're going to do on these Saturday shows. We're going to start reviewing some comments. I can't always during the week when I'm doing the regular videos with my regular work schedule. I can't always get to all your comments. Some of them are extremely long, extremely insightful, and it's obviously time consuming to read them. And the way I'd like to respond in detail, I cannot do that. So if you guys, hopefully I'll be able to share some of your comments on these Saturday shows, hopefully discuss Chelsea 77 degrees here outside of Toronto. Hi, Carol. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so let's start with that's the format for the Saturday shows. And I appreciate, by the way, if you guys haven't had a chance to check out the show I did last week on cosigners and on personal guarantees, go back and take a look at that. I'll find a way, hopefully, to link that here below. This is a few days ago, and it's getting pretty substantial response for my channel. YouTube picks it up. They're putting it out there. I think it's over 30,000 views, and I'm glad because it's an important topic that you guys all need to be aware of, and hopefully you'll share it, especially with younger generations that are confronted with these questions of when do they put themselves onto an obligation personally, all right, or co-sign an obligation for somebody else. Or if you're a parent, when do you consider co-signing a student loan for one of your children, and just what that means. I wasn't trying to suggest, I think I said on the video, I wasn't suggesting that you never do that. I just want everyone to understand and have their eyes wide open about what it means. There's a lot of common misconceptions about those things. So appreciate everybody who watched that video on the cosigner, and hopefully you guys got something out of it. yesterday I did a very quick short in the afternoon on an article that I saw come out from the Daily Huddle talking about a Chase Bank study that was done. And yeah, Shell, the subscribers, it has kicked up a couple hundred in the last week or so. That's encouraging. Glad to see that. Again, I'm finding my way here and tying everything back in, hopefully economics, but also to legal stuff. And I know you guys are appreciating that, the people that watch this channel. And that's kind of where obviously I have some expertise, certainly in California law. And if I can help guide without getting specific legal advice, hi, Teresa. I'm going to do that, and we'll start discussing more topics like that on the show during the week. We'll use that for me coming out and kind of talking, at you as opposed to with you, sharing current economic events. I'm always going to try to tie it back in if I can to something real life practice that I've seen, experienced, in my law practice. And hopefully you guys will glean something from that. Again, my overriding goal is to try to help everybody stay out of legal hassles, stay out of the court system, wherever you're at. Doesn't matter what state you're at in the country or even what country you're at around the world. You don't want to be there. And it's interesting that trial I had before I left for my Europe vacation in July really just drove the point home. I shared that with some of you guys. It was a jury trial. My client was a defendant, and we were basically dragged through a week-long jury trial, the whole 9 yards on a claim that, from my perspective, never should have been brought. And my client was forced to expend, tens of thousands of dollars in costs and legal fees and stress. We were successful in that trial. The jury delivered a verdict in our favor, but it was very, very, let's say, unsettling to see that play out with something that I don't believe ever should have been in the court system. So, it's set up for, unfortunately, it's set up. Hey, Michael, how you doing? It's set up for you know, abuse, unfortunately. And I've seen it over 30 years. Certain things get brought that should not be brought. But it kind of drove the point home that, look, I see a mission. What is my mission here? I can come out, I can talk about economics and share current events with you. There's a lot of YouTubers doing that. Everyone has their own style and approach, absolutely. So, from my perspective, what can I bring to the table? Some value added, and that certainly is the legal approach. And whether that's contracts, construction, business, some estate planning work, things that I do, a lot of real estate litigation and transactional work, buying and selling businesses, setting up businesses, partnership disputes, all those kind of good things, and then some of the ugly parts that you see as well with business operations. So that's kind of where I'm going to start channeling the show. And again, if I can, even help a couple people to work through some issues, or at least direct them in the right direction to get the right advice they need, depending on where they're at. That's what we're going to do. Let me quickly go back. I had thrown this article in the trash, and that's why it's all wrinkled. But I grabbed it out of the trash this morning, real early, because I thought it deserved a little bit more attention, talking about how bad off the consumers in this country really are. And look, I'm sure I'll get some, yeah, prices are still high on everything. Getting sidetracked, but yesterday on the video I discussed the Jerome Powell, the pivot, the Fed pivot. They're making this pivot. They're going to start lowering interest rates at a time where everything is at all-time highs. The stock market, housing market, rents, food, insurance. It's kind of historical from that perspective, right? Because you don't normally see, let's say, hey, Roger, how you doing? You don't normally see a rate reduction or a loosening cycle when things are at all-time highs. So we're going to have to see how this monetary experiment that we're all living through plays out. But let me go back to this article from the Daily Huddle, and appreciate you guys here in the room. This says a new report, and I discussed it in my 1 minute short yesterday, but let's delve into it and then we'll discuss it a little bit more. A new report from JP Morgan Chase is shedding light on how many Americans, it says, can afford to pay for an emergency. So what they do is they took a group analysis of 5.9 million households that have Chase bank accounts, okay? And what their analysis showed is that 8% which equated to 472,000 Chase Bank customers, they said, were completely unable to cover even a $400 expense if they needed to. And that included in their analysis use of credit cards. So what they're saying is that 472,000 of their customers, all right, could not, either through cash in their accounts or through available lines of credit and credit lines, pay for a $400 expense. Okay, so obviously that's only, it's 8%, but 8% is 8%. And when you start looking at it in terms of what those numbers are, and that's just Chase Bank customers. And look, Chase Bank, I'm not going to weigh in on, obviously it's one of the bigger banks or the biggest bank in the country. It's also, one of the preeminent banks, right? Obviously anybody can open up an account, but the point is they have minimum balances and things like that if you don't maintain. So I thought that was important to highlight, because what we're being told, right? Keith, Northeast Arkansas. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Love your perspective, he says. What we're being told and what's being rolled out with the convention last week and all the, pom pressing and cheerleading that the economy is great. You see stories like this from Chase Bank and their own customers, and it's got to give you pause. I received a comment from someone. I'm going to read some comments here in a couple of minutes. One of them from a viewer that said she had lost her job, I believe, yesterday. And I do get those comments all the time. And we know that there's a lot of corporate downsizing, and a lot of businesses are buttoning up the hatches, planning for anything but this soft landing that we're being sold is going to happen. So look, is lowering the rates starting in September, what kind of impact is that going to have? I'm not an economist. You guys can all weigh in. But it seems to me, and everyone has different perspectives, are we going to heading into a deflationary environment, or is that going to turn around and then ramp up the inflation that the Fed's been trying to control for the last 2 years with this rate hiking cycle? So how's it going to play out? I mean, it seems to me that that's inflationary. Cutting interest rates is inflationary. Okay, from my perspective. Give me your thoughts. Let me know what your guys' take on that is. But think that it is nothing but an experiment we're living through. I'm not so sure that that the Fed, the comment he made yesterday, I didn't watch the whole news conference, but he, at the end of his pre-prepared comments, he said, well, that's my take. Some of you, your mileage, I think Powell said your mileage may vary. So obviously, that's his take. Obviously, he's got lots of advisors, but I think our mileage, you guys might want to weigh in on this. Yeah, Shell, food prices keep going higher and higher. Yeah, food prices are both food at home and food away. I heard a chart on yesterday's video where I showed that. So yeah, you've got food prices going up. I just read something that the auto insurance rates continue to skyrocket across this country. I know here in California, it is absolute sticker shock. Now I have teenage kids, and they're driving, so that tends to keep our premiums high. But I'm hearing from everybody across the board that their premiums for the auto insurance are going crazy. So give me your thoughts on that. Let me start by sharing, read some comments from some of you that I received over the last. Mary Lynn English, rent and utilities are killing me. Yeah, rents are at all-time highs too. I showed the Zillow chart, I believe, yesterday, from asking rents are literally at all-time highs. So how is this good for any of us? And how are we better off now than we were a year or two ago? So we're told that it's time to start cutting rates because inflation is under control. But look at the comments from you guys. I'm telling you what I'm going through. I'm sure we're all experiencing the same thing. I'm not seeing food prices come down. I'm not seeing insurance costs come down for medical or health or homeowners insurance. I'm not seeing, prices of houses come down at all. So let me read some comments. This is from, who's this from? J Quinton 3, and this is a comment to using refi or home equity lines of credit for debt consolidation. I did a video last week on that. Didn't get a lot of reception. I hope you guys might go back and check that out as well. I think it's something that you got to be very, very careful. Again, this is people digging themselves into a hole again. It kind of plays on this whole Chase bank account customers don't have $400, right? So they go and they pull out equity from their house, but use their house as a piggy bank, and they risk their house. They risk losing their house over consolidating credit card debt. This comment from Jay Quinton 3 says, all HELOC payments you make go to pay interest first too. I had a HELOC and my minimum monthly payment for a $35,000 HELOC was $200, 200 bucks, and it all went to interest payments and nothing to principal unless you pay extra, he says. That's $2,400 interest yearly. Hell no, I paid it off quickly. No more HELOC for me. And I wanted to share this comment because it's actually, I think, very, very helpful for you guys to know that relative to, you're paying interest first. And so keep that in mind. Understand the terms if you guys are going to go and get yourself involved in these HELOCs. But for sure, any loan you take out, obviously you have an obligation to repay. But keep it in mind that the interest charges, and we know credit card interest is nuts right now. The interest charges, even the HELOCs, is a real thing. And it's very, very difficult if you're on a fixed budget, it's very difficult if you're planning for X amount of dollars per month to pay on that loan. If that's just the interest, you're not getting anywhere. Okay, so if you haven't allocated additional monies to start chipping away at the principal, you're going to just be treading water, right? Next, I appreciate Jay Quinton for that comment for everybody. Next comment is from Black Swans Fine. Black Swans Fine. This is in response to my video yesterday on the Jerome Powell thing. Pistol Pete, if inflation is 3%, that's 50% more than the arbitrary target of 2%. Excellent point. Yeah, right. They say 2%. It seems to me they have to have totally abandoned that in practice. To me, also, again, as a non-expert, non-economist, that it was the other part of the dual mandate that gave Powell yesterday his, let's say, his runway to come out and say, well, that's the job market, the labor market is supposedly softening. 818,000 fictitious jobs that were created. We're going to find out last week were even created at all, right? It was just a bunch of BS, right? So it was sold at the time to juice the markets or to make people feel warm and fuzzy. And then after the fact, a year later, we see that it was 818,000 less than they told us for the last year, right? This is so let me read this comment from Black Swan's Fine. Exponential. This is an excellent synopsis of kind of, and that's why I wanted to read it. It's a bit long. But I'm going to read it because I think it's very, very insightful, very well written. It says exponential growth of debt is the only way our monetary and banking system can continue to function. Debt must be created. Oh, tap the like button from Matt. Thanks, Shell. I appreciate it. Yeah, you guys do that for me if you would. Let's try to, wake up or do whatever we have to do with the algos and keep getting here. But he says debt must be created in greater and greater amounts in order to sustain it. That's the only option. Multi-trillions of newly created stimulus dollars are coming. The chart of the U.S. debt growth puts U.S. debt over 100 trillion in 2033. It's literally set in stone that debt must double every 4 to 8 years. The Keynesians in charge of the Federal Reserve know that hyperinflation is the only possible outcome in order to reset a debt-based monetary system. Any day we will hear about an $8 to $10 trillion stimulus bill coming, for whatever the reason they say is needed, whatever crisis they make up. We're about that much short of being kept on track with debt growth charts. We must hit 40 trillion by the end of 2025. We must be at over 40 trillion in U.S. debt by this time next year. It's not crazy. That's how much we're off, and they desperately need lower rates to continue this. And it's that last part of the comment that I thought was important. That is this game plan? Maybe you justify the lowering the rates on the soft job market, labor market, but also that's the goal. Is that this system is based upon having to continually put more money in circulation, print money. And so, it's a debt-based system, right? So I thought that was a good comment from Black Swan's Fine. I appreciate that. Here's the comment from Roxanne. I don't know if that's Roxanne here on the live stream or not. If it's your same Roxanne, let me know. She says, I lost my job last week. And it's almost impossible to find a job that made that much money, and I didn't make that much, she says. And I wanted to read that comment because a lot of people around the country are hurting. A lot of people are suffering job loss like this. And I wanted to just let Roxanne know. I responded to her comment and said that, okay, there's Roxanne. Um, Roxanne, you're going to do just fine. Just keep your head up on this stuff, right? I mean, and I don't know what area you're in, but if anybody, has any insight on some good job openings, and then that feel for Roxanne, maybe you guys can leave her some comments and get her hooked up. But just don't give up, because we get a lot of that where people get discouraged. I hear it all the time, and they give up. So I think that an opportunity is definitely going to come along for you. This is a very, very difficult time a lot of people are going through, and that's why never give. You can't. Okay, one foot in front of the other. Get up in the morning, take those baby steps, and have a routine. And wherever that is, get yourself out there, and somebody will see the opportunity to bring you on. So anyway, prayers for you, and it'll work out fine. And I appreciate you sharing your honesty, Eileen, with all of us. Gary Holland Artist says, please tell listeners about elderly Social Security ×2 in one account not being available to collectors. 2012 law, I believe. If grandma doesn't need credit, as most do not, no problem. The reason why I want to address Gary's comment, it's a little off topic, but I've never gotten involved, and I'll tell you guys, obviously you can't be a jack of all trades in the legal profession. It's like anything else. We have to focus on something, specialize on something. My obviously forte is business contracts, real estate, things like that. Yes, some estate planning, but I don't do Social Security stuff, Medi-Cal, Medicare planning, and so I don't want to put myself out there and make up this statement. So I just want to let you guys know, if there's something that you ask me about and I don't have any knowledge on, I'm not going to speculate. I'm not going to try to, be all things to all people. Gary, I cannot tell listeners about that because I don't know much about it. Okay. And I know that I get people coming to me all the time relative to Medi-Cal, Medicare planning, about setting up irrevocable trusts to protect assets. I personally don't handle those things, so I can't respond to that one. Focus 2166 says, for every derivative bet, and this is in response to my video entitled "The Four Big Banks Hold 80% of all of the off-balance sheet derivatives. This will not end well." I put that video up last week. So Focus 2166 says, for every derivative bet that is the holder's asset, surely must be a counterparty's liability. Absolutely. When it all goes bust, the question becomes, what is the value of the contract that cannot perform? Who gets bailed in first? And that was kind of the point of the video when I heard about those staggering, derivatives that are held by the big four banks. And they say, well, your money is safe up to $250,000 FDIC insured. We start talking about these trillions of dollars. I would just question that, right? Because nobody knows. It's never really been tested. It's never really blown up. Will it blow up on our watch while we're still around, guys? I don't know, but I thought it was important to share that with you. And Focus 2166, I think that's a well taken comment. Chuck says, Matt, can you talk about the difference between irrevocable trust and a land trust for homes, and the value payable on death form that can be recorded at a person's local bank that maintains their checking savings account? Can this POD help those accounts avoid probate? Let me address that. I know we're jumping around, but I want just to give a sampling of viewer comments, which I'll be doing every week, okay, on Saturdays. So I appreciate a comment from Chuck. And again, not specific legal advice. You guys have all got to go see your own attorneys, professionals in your area. Shell says I bought silver. Not a bad idea in your area. And the whole idea of a POD account or a payable on death account, at least in California, the short answer, Chuck, is yes. In California, the purpose of a POD account is you designate a beneficiary on that bank account, not someone that holds the account jointly with you, but somebody who would be the beneficiary of the account, or become the owner of the account upon your passing. And if you designate properly set up a POD or payable on death account, it does avoid probate. To my knowledge, okay, and I've had clients come to me and ask me about that, and I believe that is one alternative, okay, relative to having a bank account. 18 Jenny Becky says many small businesses in our rural community are closing. It's sad to hear. Sad to hear. I'm seeing, and this is not a rural community. I'm seeing a lot of businesses here fail. A lot of businesses closing, a lot of vacancies, a lot of commercial storefronts just open. So it doesn't surprise me, and I don't think probably I don't think it's going to get any better for a while. Okay, because we just talked about some information here and some data points that are not supportive of this fantastic recovery. So I hope that answered the question on the payable on death account. Let's quickly discuss something I want to bring up. I have a friend of mine, because I often get comments saying that I'm an anti-stock market guy, or that saw a comment this morning about the fraudsters that push gold and silver. I am. That's not really what this channel is about. You guys know that I'm a proponent of that. Am I a proponent of gold and silver as your only asset? Absolutely not. I mean, I think that you have to have other forms of assets. That includes real estate. I think it also includes stocks. Now, I just don't like to buy in, and I'm not. I don't understand the markets enough where I can day trade and short the stocks as they're going down. So what I'm looking to do is accumulate value propositions with revenue returns on your shares, right? With dividends, or maybe over time. But I don't want to buy in when the market's at all-time highs. So what I'm going to do, I have a good friend of mine. His name is Bill. I saw him last weekend. Hey, old Roscoe, how you doing? Uh, Shell says XRP. Look, cryptos too. I own XRP. I own some Bitcoin. I own some Ethereum. It's not a bad idea. I don't think 100% of anything is smart. Let me get back to my friend Bill. He is an MBA. He's a business owner, local guy out here, but he is basically a huge stock market proponent, and he trades every day, and has himself a very nice portfolio, and he does generate a substantial amount of dividend income every month. I think that's and his 401k is also traded through the market. Now he and I argue a lot. We go back and forth because he's a if the market goes up guy, he makes money. If it goes down, he loses. But I want to bring him on. I'll bring him on the show in the next week or two and have him share his perspective about what he does and how he buys and sells and what his goals are for retirement through the stock market. And there's no doubt he is a stock market guy, real smart guy. But I want him to talk to you about his victories and his losses. And I also want you guys to understand that I am let's say, I don't say fasted, but I believe in having a variety of assets. And I know we're getting a little bit off topic. A lot of people, are just trying to hold on to a job or get a job and just survive. I get it, but I want to be able to speak to as broad an audience here as we can, right? So everybody maybe can glean something from the channel. That's kind of the goal. And if I don't know something, I'll bring somebody on to talk about it. Okay, and I'm going to start doing that as well, so we can continue to broaden the scope. But again, tie it back to helping you guys, pointing you in the right direction. Maybe isolating or pointing out some pitfalls on things as we go through. Linda, am I right that prices fall and there are no jobs? Figuratively, wouldn't there have to be negative interest rate to match the depreciation that is occurring now? I think that's a good point, right? But who's to say that we can't go negative? I mean, obviously, or maybe that's where all this is heading. So I think that's a detailed question. Someone that has economics background maybe can Yeah, I'll bring Bill on. I will do that. I think I guys like to hear from Bill. He's a sales background, so he loves to talk. He's very analytical, and so you guys can throw some questions his way. And I talked to him last week about it. He said he'd love to do it, so we'll get Bill on the show. I saw JB yesterday, ran into JB to talk for a few minutes. We were trying to get a live stream together. He had some other commitments today, but we're going to try to get that as well and do a show with Jeremiah. Maybe I'll go over on his channel, bring him here, figure something out, and keep you guys kind of in the loop on that. What else we want to talk about? I don't want to go too long today. We're right about a half an hour. Let me see. I had some notes. Let me see if I covered everything I wanted to cover. I think I did for today. I think I did. Uh, we are moving rapidly. You saw the JFK has suspended, Junior suspended his campaign and thrown support behind the Trump campaign. So things are consolidating, and there's a lot happening. We are moving very quickly to November. Okay, so please, everybody, stay vigilant. Obviously, we're not going to disregard prepping. I'm not going to avoid all the other topics I think are important for us. We're going to talk about prepping. I know somebody wants me to do a dissection of the Get Home Bag again. We'll do that. I think I'll dedicate separate shows for that and try to keep the Saturday live stream, you guys interacting with one another, me reading some viewer comments, and just discuss some of the big current events from the week. Obviously, last week was the Fed pivot issue. Gold and silver, by the way, did have a nice day yesterday, which is not to be, which was not unexpected. Thursday, they sold off a bit. So a lot of volatility right now, a lot of volatility in the metals markets, a lot of volatility in cryptos. I think you're going to see more and more volatility in the stock market as well as the election selection gets nearer. And then after that, depending on the outcome, it may get really crazy for a while. So, let me see. Did I miss any comments from you guys? Miss any comments? I don't think so. 50 people that were here and again. Hopefully, we'll continue to, grow this live stream on the weekend a bit so we can, have more people chime in, exchange more thoughts. You guys can hear from me. It just gives me a time to come out, summarize some stuff from the week, and if I can, let me answer a few questions. I don't mind doing some question and answer sessions with you guys. If you have some good questions to ask me, I'm good with that. Again, I will not come out here and try to purport to answer a question that I don't feel qualified to answer. So the goal is to help everybody have this community keep building, and for people to understand that they have a place they can express their thoughts or ideas and their comments. We all learn from each other, right? I can't do that when I'm talking at you with the stuff during the week. This is kind of an important time to share thoughts. And for the comments that I did receive that I read out, I appreciate those. For the comments that you guys leave me, which is now starting to, on some of the videos, the amount of comments is getting up there. I encourage that. I do read them. I don't always have the time to respond to all of them, and so I do apologize. I'm not being rude. It's just that it's difficult to do. And frankly, I've talked to JB about it. Christopher Indara says buy more silver. And we got a lot of silver fans. I'm a big proponent of silver. I read an article last week. Is it one of the states, something state battery is working on a new battery for electric vehicles, and it's supposed to have so many ounces. Or if you guys read the article, let me know. I was going to share it, and I got sidetracked last week and didn't share it. So many ounces or grams of silver in these batteries, and they were projecting out the numbers. And the idea of the battery is to give these electric vehicles, a lot more mileage, right? And so, if I'm using the right terminology, but distance between charges, and which is one of the drawbacks of these electric vehicles right now. And so, looking at that gets implemented, they were saying that they were extrapolating how much silver would be required, how many vehicles and batteries, and what that would mean in terms of the drain and the demand on the silver supply. And they were saying that it would deplete the available silver pretty quickly, or at least it would force the allocation of much of the above ground silver supply for these batteries. Again, I'm not making a conclusion there, but that certainly would have some impact on silver. It's a relatively small market if you look at it in connection with other markets, right? The bond market, the stock market, even the gold market. And so we've always said, "Hi Betsy, you're not late. It's okay." By the way, these videos will convert over to long form, regular format videos when we're done. And again, it's just going to have the Saturday Live thumbnail there, but it might be something people want to go on and just check out and see what we discussed. That's the format I want to keep for Saturday. Roger, Rome wasn't built in a day. Keep going, man. Okay. Yeah. Look, I mean, I'm chipping away. I'm not discouraged. I think it's been a fun process for me. I think I said yesterday, as I'm kind of evolving and finding my way here, kind of what am I meant to be doing with the channel? My goal is not to be repetitive and to have this what everyone else is doing, but try to offer something that is valuable and there's value added for you guys. All right, that's the point of it. Okay. Um, and I was talking to the other day. I was talking to Travis from Economic Ninja just briefly, and he had said, "Well, your business will start, exploding." And I said, "I don't want my business to explode. I want to offer thoughts and guidance, but I really, I'm trying to, as I've shared previously, extricate myself if I can, wean myself out of day-to-day grind, certainly of the litigation portion of my practice." It's just I'm 30 years now doing this. The stress of litigation, and I'm a Type A guy anyway, so the stress of litigation for me, I'm just kind of it's I'm over it. And I think that trial I had before the vacation just drove the point home that this is kind of not where I want to be anymore. So yeah, transactional work, business consultations, things like that, for sure. But we were laughing because I said I don't want to grow the business, the law business. Okay, so anyway, guys, I don't really. That was what I wanted to cover with everybody today, and I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day today. Be productive, and try to eat healthy, stay healthy, get those steps in, and keep prepping, right? Because we just don't know how bad things are going to get. It's not doom and gloom. Thanks, I appreciate you being here. It's not doom and gloom. Keith says, "Are Bitcoin Ethereum ETFs better to hold over the coins themselves?" Look, let me respond. I'm not an expert on crypto by any means, but it's like anything else with ETFs, and I can compare it to ETF, paper, gold, and silver. I do not hold ETF gold, SLV, GLD. In my mind, you don't own anything. You have a piece of paper. It's a promise, and so it's if the internet goes down, if there's a hack of some sort, whatever it is, okay, you can't access your gold and silver. So I'm a proponent personally of physical relative to the cryptos. I don't have a big crypto position, but I have them stored on a wallet. They are not in an ETF, so that's not my way of investing, right? But look, if you're in the stock market, you have to, it's digital. Okay, you don't hold the shares of stock anymore. It's funny, we're on a tangent, but years ago, my dad used to buy when my girls were really young for holidays and things. He would give them literally physical shares of stock, Walmart stock and Qualcomm stock, as I recall, and we still have those share certificates, sitting in the safe because and he would he thought it was great to actually request and give them the actual share certificates for a birthday or whatever it was. But look, at nobody holds shares anymore per se. You have digits on a screen, right? And Bill and I go back and forth with that about there is risk. Okay, there's risk. All right, what you think you own, do you own it if it's literally a digit on a screen somewhere? I shared the story a couple of weeks ago or a few weeks ago when there was that CrowdStrike, outage, and it affected what trading house was it? Charles Schwab, and Charles Schwab, Bill he wanted to trade, he couldn't couldn't access the account, so he had to fund his account by writing a check and going down to the local Charles Schwab office. And they took the check from him, issued him a receipt. It took several days for the funds to clear. So again, how much control do you really have if something just like that happens? And that wasn't even a major event, okay? But at some point there will be a major event. So just keep that in mind. You've got to have not have all your eggs in one basket. ETFs are certainly one way to play it, but it's for gold and silver and for crypto. That's not my thing. Pistol Pete, I have a 1958 Standard Oil stock certificate that my aunt got as an employee. Yeah, it's pretty. It's pretty amazing. I remember seeing my grandmother's oil stocks, and she had the certificates, and she wrote everything out in the book, and it was pretty neat to see how they did that. Say in the old days, right? All right, I'm getting a little long today, 40 minutes. Again, circle back to have a great rest of your weekend, everybody. Stay healthy. God bless you guys. I appreciate the support for the channel. We're going to keep coming out here and doing, I say we, it's me, doing my part to just offer what I can. And thanks, Sean. I appreciate that. Yeah, my mom, I saw my dad the other day. My mom's doing fine. Her came out. We had dinner with her the other night. So thank God right now, the wheels are staying on the buggy. My dad's 86, mom's 82. Mom has some health issues. Dad's actually in good health, goes to the gym every day. So I'm fortunate enough, and just on that, not preaching to you, but spend time with elderly ones, with loved ones, because we don't know where things are going to go, what's going to happen, and it's easy to get caught up in our daily routine, and not go see mom or dad or whatever it is, and then we have an unfortunate event, someone passes away. So do what you can to spread your time out with those and parents, elderly parents. I know my parents won't tell me that. I know they won't call me and say, please come over. But you just know, they want to see you, and they want to spend time. So keep that in mind. Pete, is it possible that certificate is worth millions? Interesting. Old Roscoe, thank you again. Sure. Thanks, Matt, for doing the live chat. Yeah, I hope you guys, get something out of it. I hope it's not boring for you. Maybe we cover some things that have some interest. So we'll keep. Yeah, we did a video with my dad. I don't know. It's been 6 months or something, right? We went to a car show and we were walking around and got his take. Maybe I'll get my dad on here again and give him have him. He has opinions. As we get closer to the election, he's going to have even more opinions. Roxanne, family is everything. Yeah, it really is. If those of us that are fortunate to have family and parents and kids, my wife's mom passed away uh, from cancer a few years ago, and she was very close with her because my wife's an only child, and it was brutal because they lived close and they would go on trips every year together, and of course my kids, my girls were close with her as well, their grandmother. So yeah, you don't get those days back, right? So you got to make the best of each day. Appreciate you guys. Get sentimental here. About 50 people. Appreciate you guys taking the time on Saturday to join. So I don't know. I guess I can end the stream here. Apologize for the mix-up this morning on shifting over. I'll figure it out so I can hopefully hit a button and it'll be simple. So talk to you guys. If not tomorrow, I'll see you when I put some more materials up this next week. Everyone have a great weekend.